Okay, great.
Yeah, that one's positive.
So we're starting with number 3, so the first thing, everybody has to be on the same side. So this negative 9 over here is not going to work.
So it means negative x squared plus 8x
Okay,
equals
good.
positive.
Negative x squared plus 8x plus 9 equals 0. Okay, next rule. Everybody has to be on the same side. Only other rule for you to t-chart is your x squared can't be negative. Do you see it's negative? So remember, what you're allowed to do to fix that is times everything by negative 1. And that's going to change all your signs. So my x squared will switch to be a positive. My 8x will turn to a what?
Negative 8.
Now it's a negative. What about my 9? Now it's a negative. Then from here, you're ready to t-chart. So top of the chart, what number do we put? Negative 9. Good. What are my factors for 9? 2 partners.
3 and 3 plus 1.
Huh? Because you can't t-chart when the first term is negative. So you have to change all the signs, basically. So that turns positive, those both turn negative. Okay, and then if I want a negative 8 in the middle, which way am I subtracting? Minus on the 9. Good. Then from there, divide by x. You have x plus 1 and x minus 9, which means what are your 2 solutions?
Negative 1, positive 1.
Good. Okay, now if you don't remember where that comes from, you would set those terms equal to 0 separately and solve. That's why they change sign. Okay, look right next to it at number, we're going to do 6.
6, yeah.
Okay, what's step 1?
You put the 3.
Okay, 3 is on the wrong side. Bring it over.
GCF.
Uh-huh. So I have 3x squared plus 6x. Now it's a plus 3. Because you need everybody to be together. Then you could start t-charting, but they all have to divide by 3. So I'm going to put a little thing here and put GCF first. Uh-huh. So it's a normal x squared, a 2x, and 3 divided by 3 is a 1. Okay, then set up your chart. At the top of the chart, remember we're going to put our c term, which is a positive 1. What's the only way to multiply to get 1? 1 times 1. Does that also add to 2 in the middle? Yes, it does. So put them both over x. And it'll be x plus 1 and x plus 1. Now, when your factors are the same, your answers come out to be the same. Do you have to list it twice? No. If it's a plus 1, your only answer is negative 1. Okay? All right, let's jump down, please, to number 12. Or number 9, sorry. Not 12. Okay, can you take the 2 out of the front on number 9 by dividing by 2? No. 13 in the middle? Can't divide. So that means you still have to t-chart. But your top number, remember, you multiply A and C together. If there's an A, you have to include it in the chart. So since my A is a 2, my C is an 18, that multiplies to 36. Very good. Now, factors of 36. Let's start with 1. Okay? So 1 times 36, 2 and 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, or 6 and 6. Then from there, if the top number is positive, they have to add to the number in the middle. What's my number in the middle? 13, so I need 4 and 9. Very good. Now, if I want to get negative 13, negative 4 and negative 9. Now, I'm going to write my terms down here. This is why. Remember that when your first term's not just an x squared, you have to divide by the a again. So if it was a 2, I have to divide by 2x, divide by 2x. Either they will both reduce or one side divides. Okay, will 9 divide by 2? No, then don't do it. This side will divide then. What is negative 4 divided by 2? 2 over x. So then from there, my factors are x minus 2, bottom to the top, and then 2x minus 9, bottom to top. It does not matter which one you put first. Okay, the other thing that we have to review is what you do when your parentheses looks like this. Now, for the minus 2, what's the answer? Positive 2, right? When it has two numbers, you change the sign, so that'll turn to a positive 9, but then 2 goes on the bottom. So it would be positive 9 over 2, which is the same as that. That's fine. Okay? Want to pick one more off this page? 9? We just did 9. Oh. 10, okay. What do we need to move first? Negative 4 is on the wrong side. When we move it over, now it's a what? So I have 3x squared minus 8x plus 4 equals 0. Set up your chart. At the top, you need to do a times c unless you can divide to get rid of the a. Now my a is a 3. Can 8 and 4 also divide by 3? No. So what is 3 times 4? Okay. What are my factors for 12? 1 and 12. 2 and 6. 3 and 4. Now this time I notice what is my factors that will add to 8. But if I want negative 8, negative 2 and negative 6. Then from there, what do I divide them both by? Good. So I divide by 3x on both sides. 2 cannot go, but 6 can. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2 over x. So remember, either both sides reduce or one side should divide. Okay, from there I have 3x minus 2 is my first factor. And then I have x minus 2 is my second factor. Then remember, when you have numbers in both spots, you change the sign. So it'll be a positive 2, but then where does the 3 go? On the bottom. So 2/3 for my first one. And then for my x minus 2, it's a positive 2. 2/3 is actually 0.66. Yeah. Okay. All right, turn over to the back. Okay? That's fine. Okay. Flip over to the back. You ready?
Oh my God. No, ma'am.
Okay, now listen. The bottom 12 are not T-charts, so just relax. You'll remember them when we do them. Okay, they're all shortcuts. Now, I do want to do one. You have 2 more T-charts at the top. 11 or 12? 12? Okay. What do we do with the 1 on 12? Okay, minus it from where? From the 11. Remember, you have to get all your numbers on the same side. So we're going to minus the 1 from the 11. We're going to get what left over. Okay, good. From here, can I T-chart? No. No, why not? Negative in the front, not going to work. Standard form says that can't be negative. So I'm going to times everything by negative 1. And remember, that's going to flip each of your signs. So my negative 3r squared is positive. A plus 7r and a minus 10. Set up your T-chart. Can I get rid of the 3 by dividing? Nope, because 10 can't go and 7 can't go. Because I switched all the signs. So at the top, I do a times c. My a is a 3. So times negative 10 is negative 30. Good. From there, I need partners with a difference of 7. Let's see if we can find them. 1 and 30. Is that a difference of 7? 2 and 15. What's the difference between 2 and 15? Not going to work. What about 3 times 10? Difference is 7. Now, there are more partners. You can make your list complete if you want, but we already know who we want. Now, which way do we subtract to get 7? Minus on the 3 or the 10? 3. So the 10 minus 3 gives me positive 7. Divide by what? 3r. Remember that if you times by something for the top of the chart, you have to divide by that same something at the end. Which one will reduce? 3 divided by 3 is negative 1 over r. So my factors are r minus 1 and 3r plus 10. Yep, so I take my negative 1, I turn it to a positive 1. And then I take my positive 10, I turn it to a negative 10 over 3. Because remember, whatever's up there with r, it has to end up going back down to the bottom. Good? Okay, those are all your T-charts. Now, all the bottom ones are specials. They're organized. Look at your top 2 rows. What do you notice all of your terms have?
They're squares.
Okay, they're not perfect squares. They're GCFs. Okay, so look at number 13. What do both of my terms here have in them? They both have an X. So that means that it's a greatest common factor. So we're going to do number 14, but everything in this section is going to be the same until 19. So these are all GCF in this section. Okay, look at number 14. What did we say they both have? So I'm going to divide by X, and I'm going to put X in the front. Now, when you divide by X, that's going to take your X squared down to a what? Just a normal X. And then this used to be a 5X, but I pulled my X out. Now it's a what? Just a 5. Then from here, what do we do for the X in the front? Okay, so we will have a negative 5 from the parentheses, but what do you do with the X in the front? Do you remember? It is 0. Good. Okay, if you don't remember, I'm going to put a little star here. X on the outside means X equals 0. Anytime you get an X on the outside, 0 is going to be one of your answers for that X. And then the other one in the parentheses, you solve it the same. Okay, look at number 15. What do they both have? An X. So my X is going to come out, but this time I'm going to have numbers left over. What is left over from the 4X squared? 4X. What about the 7X? Just a 7. And then from there, what is my X on the outside's answer? 0. And then on this one, remember, you change the sign, put it over 4. So positive 7, then I put it over 4. No? Oh. Okay, last one we're going to do from this section is 18. Really? Yes, we did. Y'all. Yes, we did. Remember, I would say, oh, for the outside, it's 0. Okay. 18 you can divide by 10, but what else can you divide by? Not just the number. Okay, so yeah, you have to divide by 10x. And then one other thing, do you remember the rule? What can the first number not be? So when I take out a number, I'm going to take out a negative 10. Okay, so negative 10 goes on the outside. What is left over when I divide? Negative 20 by negative 10. Positive 2x, good. Okay, then for my next one, I had a positive 10 divided by a negative 10. What do I get? Minus 1. Because 10 divided by negative 10 is negative 1. Then from there, I identify my solutions. X is on the outside. What does that mean? 0. And what about 2x minus 1? Positive 1 over 2. So remember, you take the second number, switch the sign. So it was a minus 1, I turned it to a positive 1, then 2 goes on the bottom. Okay? Alright, bottom section. This is a difference of they're both perfect squares. Okay, they're both perfect squares. So remember, when I have x squared minus 81, I'm going to square root both terms. What is the square root of x squared? Of x squared? X. And then what's the square root of 81? Plus or minus 9. Very good. So what do? I put a plus 9 in one, minus 9 in the other. So remember that when it's perfect squares, you get the same parentheses, but one's a plus, one's a minus. Then from there, if this is a plus 9, what's my first answer? And then my negative 9 turns to a... Now, you can also write it like this. Plus minus 9. It does not matter to me as long as you do it one way or the other. Now, go to number 21. Can I take the square root of 2?
divided first, then
Good. Okay, remember, there are some questions where you need to GCF first. So I can divide both of those by what?
it'll be by 2.
2.
It'll be a plus or minus 10.
So my 2's are gone. 2 divided by 2 is just an x squared. And then 200 divided by 2 is now a 100. And now I can perfect square it.
Plus or minus 10.
So square root my x squared, I just get an x and an x. Then your square root of 100 is plus or minus 10. So plus 10 in one, minus 10 in the other. Sure. So I get for plus 10 it'd be a minus 10, for minus 10 it'd be a plus 10. Remember?
No.
These things? Not
I
at
don't remember
all.
this one. I don't remember the other thing.
Okay. Alright, look at number 22. Can I square root 9x squared? Yes. Yes, you can.
Which one?
9x squared.
Yeah,
What's the square root of 9?
no. 3.
3. What's the square root of x squared? X, so it'd be 3x, right? You just square root them together. They're a team. Okay, so the square root of 9x squared is 3x and 3x. And then what's the square root of 4?
Oh, plus 2.
Plus or minus 2. So plus in one, minus in the other. Still equal to 0. And remember that whenever you have numbers in both spots, you're going to just end up with fractions. So my first one, my plus 2 turns to a minus 2, 3 on bottom. And then my second one, my minus 2 turns to a plus 2 with the 3 on bottom. But if you would like to put plus or minus 2/3, don't care, totally fine. Okay, one more left we're going to do together, number 23. Can I break it down into perfect squares right now? No, because why? 63. It should be what over here? A 0, 0, 0. That's what it has to be. So minus it across. 63 minus 63 crosses out. I have 4x squared. What is minus 1? Minus 63 more. Good. Now, stop right there. Are those both perfect squares?
Yes.
Oh wait, I wrote a cubed here. That should be squared. Okay, do not perfect square it. What should you check for first? 4. Those can both divide by 4, so I need to do that as my next step. Even though they're both perfect squares, you're going to end up getting fractions as your answers when they shouldn't be fractions.
Yes, you can just add the one also and then one extra.
You could do it that way too, but that's just not factoring, but that does still work. Okay, so x squared minus 16, because I divided by 4. Then I square root my x squared, I just get an x. Then I square root my 16, I get plus or minus 4. And then remember that whatever the numbers are inside your parentheses, your answers will be the opposite.
So we can still just put the x plus or minus 1?
Sure. 24, okay, you can square root 24. What do you get?
2x.
2x is your first term. And then what's the square root of 25? Plus or minus 5. So plus in one, minus in the other, and then remember your answers. You're going to change the sign and then divide.
Divide what?
So you'd have, so 5 would be negative 5 and then over 2.
Oh, okay.
And then your other one would be positive 5 over.
I might forget how to do it.
Okay. Alright, there's one more that I thought, I'm trying to remember which one it was. It might have been on the front. Flip back over to the front, I'll just do one more with you, and then you'll finish. Number 8. Okay, set up your T-chart on number 8.
Number 8?
Yep, last one on the front.
4 times 9 is 36.
Okay, question, can I GCF this one? No. Even though 12 has factors, 4 and 9 don't share anything. So, set up your chart.
You just times it by 5
Now, I'm going to be a little lazy. Look, I already have a 36 chart right here. So, I'm just going to look to see which one will give me 12. Okay, do you see here? I have the same chart. So, I'm picking 6 and 6 from my chart. Now, if I want to get a negative 12, what has to be edited? Both negatives. Right? Because negative 6 and negative 6 give me negative 12. Okay, from there, what do I divide by on both? 4x. Now remember what I said. One side will divide or both sides have to reduce. Neither can divide, then they both reduce. 6 over 4, what can those both divide by? 2. So 6 over 4 is going to reduce to what? 3 over 2x. Good. And now think about it. If they were both 6 over 4s, then they're both now 3 over 2s. And then from there, once you get your factored form, you set them up. And if they match, how many answers will you get? Only one. So you'll have 2x minus 3, and then 2x minus 3. Could you also write that as 2x minus 3 squared? Yeah, that'd be the same, right? And then from there, your answer is what? Positive 3 over 2. Make sense?
Did you do any of the first, like, 5?
I did. I'll go up. I did number 3 only, actually, from the top. Okay? You see it? Good. Okay, so your goal is to finish. If you need help on Friday's assignment, I can do some of those. It seemed like most of y'all turned it in. Okay, so then let me pass back the ones that I already got. I've already marked them off. You can have them back, and then if you didn't give it to Miss Burnett, then you just need to show me yours today.
Yep.
You're done?